Okay. Yay. Well, for this final class in this series, I would like to use for our theme today one of my favorite mantras, which is one that I know those of you who have been practicing with me for a while have worked with this mantra because I've used it in class many times before. And it is perhaps one of the most widely chanted mantras in the world. And it is a Sanskrit mantra used often primarily by the Tibetan Buddhists. Hi, Andy. And the mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. And it also is sometimes, I'm going to put it in the chat just so you can see it. I think most of you are familiar with it, but in case you're not, I'm going to put it in there. Om Mani Padme Hum. And another pronunciation of it, the Tibetans often alternatively pronounce it as Om Mani Padme Hum. So either pronunciation is correct. It's just a matter of whether you're doing the Sanskrit or the Tibetan pronunciation. Okay, it's just the way they do it. Okay, so you can see it in your chat if you want to look at it. And what it essentially means is, behold the jewel in the lotus. Behold the jewel in the lotus. And I brought with me today my little lotus. I got this at Corning Glass. Whenever I look at this, I think of that mantra. You can see that beautiful jewel right inside the lotus. And of course, there's a lot of symbolism here. I don't know if I got a chance to show it to everybody else. You see, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces I keep on my altar. Yeah. So the lotus, of course, is a very powerful symbol in many cultures throughout history, and it's a symbol of the spiritual heart, which is another way of saying that it's the seat of the soul, or the Atman. And it is also, many of the gods and goddesses are depicted as being seated on a lotus. It's a symbol of spiritual awakening, of the unfoldment of that spiritual heart, the enlightenment, if you will. So spiritual awakening, liberation, enlightenment. And the lotus is also, if you study about the chakras, each of the chakras is depicted as a lotus flower with varying numbers of petals. And those of you who are here in the studio can see, I might be able to turn it so you can see. You can't really see it very well from the Zoom here. But each of the chakras has a different number of petals. Each lotus has a different number of petals. And the ones that we're going to be focusing on primarily today with this mantra and the corresponding mudras that we will use is the lotus of the heart, which is seen as having 12 petals. And the heart, of course, is connected with our true nature and the natural qualities of compassion, love, peace, and kindness, and all of those related qualities. And the lotus of the crown chakra, which is connected with transcendence and merging into God consciousness. And that is depicted as having 1,000 petals. Another way of saying that is you could think of it as infinite petals. So we'll be focusing with these mudras on the heart, the 12-petaled lotus of the heart, and the crown. And the other thing about this mantra is the jewel. It means behold the jewel in the lotus. And the jewel is a symbol of our true nature, of the Atman, the awakened self, the higher self. And that jewel is considered to be more bright and radiant than the brightest star, and more precious than the most valuable diamond. And that lives right in the center of your being, in your spiritual heart. So this idea of cultivating a life where we can open the petals of our lotus and see the radiance of that jewel and let that jewel, that radiance shine forth in all directions. That is the work that we do. That is what our yoga is all about. So I'm going to invite you to come into your yogic seat, and we're going to begin with a little working with that chant. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om, of course, the universal sound. Mani means jewel. Padme refers to lotus. I'm going to use the Sanskrit pronunciation, not the Tibetan, but if you prefer that, Om Mani Padme Hum, you can use that in chanting this with me. So, behold the jewel in the lotus. Om, the universal connection with all that is. Mani means the jewel. Padme, the lotus. Hum is a seed mantra that gives more power to the mantra and is connected with purification and unity consciousness. Om Mani Padme Hum. So I invite you to bring your hands, as you find your yogic seat, bring your hands into prayer position, but have a little space between the palms. So what we're making is actually fingertips are touching, your thumbs are touching, heels of the hands are touching, but there's a little space here so that you can visualize and imagine that there is a jewel inside there. But you can't see that jewel yet, because it hasn't quite fully been revealed to us. So the bud represents the possibility, the potentiality of the awakening of the human heart, of the spiritual heart. And this is where we cultivate faith, because we can't actually see it yet. We have to trust that it's there. But we do the work to allow those petals to unfold. So the first part of this is we take a bow, dropping the chin to the chest, bow to that lotus mudra. Om Mani Padme Hum. And then lifting the head, opening the petals of the lotus, just the three middle fingers. Keep the pinkies and the thumbs and the heel of the hand connected. And see those petals wide open. And with the power of your visualization, see if you can see the jewel shining right in the center. So when we work on opening those petals, we can see this magnificent radiant jewel that is our true nature, the true self. Now, bringing the elbows together. Oh, let's just say the mantra one more time here. Om Mani Padme Hum. And then bringing the elbows together so that we can create the stem of the lotus. As you may know, a lotus flower grows out of the mud or the muck at the bottom of the pond. And that symbolizes the egoic mind states, all of the negative mind states that we get stuck in, the veils of illusion and ignorance that shroud the beautiful jewel. So it's our fear, it's our desire systems, it's our forgetting of our true nature. That's the muck. So we rise up out of the muck to the crown of the head. Om Mani Padme Hum. You got to separate the elbows there. And just let that 1,000-petaled lotus hover over the crown of the head, connecting with that expanded consciousness, God consciousness, or whatever, or transcendence, whatever you want to call it. And then opening those 1,000 petals as wide as the universe. Turn the palms up and really feel this in your arms and your chest. Really feel that sense of expansion in your whole body. Om Mani Padme Hum. And then bring the hands back to that bud. All right, so let's put that together. Bowing to the possibility of awakening in yourself. Om Mani Padme Hum. Opening the petals. Om Mani Padme Hum. Seeing the jewel. Rising up. Om Mani Padme Hum. And then transcendence. Opening 1,000 petals. Om Mani Padme Hum. So on the Hum, you bring the hands back to the heart. So let's try it again. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. I'm going to give you a little rhythm now that we can do it together. All right. We'll bring it into a chant with a melody if you'd like. Okay. Hands at the heart. Lotus bud. Om Mani Padme Hum. Open. Om Mani Padme Hum. Rise up. Om Mani Padme Hum. Open. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Rise up. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And just let the lotus bud stay in front of your heart. And I invite you to join me in the sound of Om, taking a deep breath in. Om. Behold the jewel in the lotus of the heart. Refresh your posture. And we'll do a seated warm-up. I'm wearing my lotus, you can see in the back, my lotus shirt. Somebody gave me this shirt from a yoga studio. Take a deep breath in and let the arms rise overhead, syncing up movement and breath. Exhale, sweep the arms down. So just allowing the movement and the attention and the body to come into synchronized meditation and motion in training those aspects of yourself and in training with one another. Lifting the breath all the way up into the chest, releasing the breath completely. Navel draws in at the end of the exhale. Take it into a twist, lifting as you inhale, exhale, twisting to your right. Doesn't matter which side you go to. Inhale, lift up. Exhale into the twist. Looking over your shoulder, leading with the heart. Flowing side to side with breath, syncing up movement, mind, heart, and breath. In and out through the nose with a soft ujjayi sweeping the back of the throat. And palms come together, bring that lotus bud back to the heart with faith in that jewel that is shining inside. Lift the left hand, root the right palm down, reach up, find length and space through the left side body, and take it into a side bend. Just hold here and pulse a little bit. And with each inhale, you're going to breathe into those left fingertips, rooting both sit bones down, expanding, inviting space to come in between the ribs. The whole left side of the torso expands. Arm is straight, so notice if your elbow is bending, you're cutting off the energy that way, so let the arm be long. It's okay if it's a little bit higher up. And then exhale, release, and just take a moment to notice the difference between the two sides of your torso. Can you feel that? Yeah. Other side, right hand lifts, and see if you can unshrug the shoulder on the right side away from the ear. And hang out here for a few breaths in a nice, delicious side bend, finding that pulse, inhaling to lift and lengthen and reach into those fingertips with your breath. And exhale, get a little deeper into that side bend. Opening the ribs with the breath. Reaching also long and away with the crown of the head. We don't want to let the head flop down. And release. Okay. And hands reach back behind you. And take a few moments with your hands clasped in Yoga Mudra. Arms straight. If you need to use a strap, use your strap. Let your shoulder blades come toward one another. Try to kiss one another. We'll just breathe in and out of that 12-petal lotus of the heart. We'll take a few Ujjayi breaths in and out through the nose, visualizing that open lotus, visualizing that shining jewel, which is your true self. And it's said that each of those petals has a different quality of the heart. And I'll just share with you, as you are visualizing those open petals, the qualities of each petal. The 12 qualities of the heart are bliss, peace, harmony, love, understanding, empathy, clarity, purity, unity, compassion, kindness, and forgiveness. All of that is in you. All of that are expressions of your true nature. Release the arms, roll the shoulders one way. Let whatever needs to be rolled off of your shoulders, let go. And roll them the other way. And just to open behind the heart space as well, because these chakras are actually three-dimensional. Let the arms reach and rise. We'll take it into eagle arms. Reach through right, reach through left. And sweeping the right elbow underneath the left, take your expression of eagle. For some of you, it just might be giving yourself a hug. Whatever feels available and accessible to you to stretch through the upper back and open between the shoulder blades. Juice it up a little by lifting fingertips skyward, maybe taking some circles here. Exhale, unwind, reach up, through right, through left, and then other arm, left arm underneath. Take it into your eagle and explore the territory here. Exhale, unwind your arms, turn the palms up on the lap, and just notice what's alive in you, in your torso, in your upper body, in your chest, arms. And then come forward into your table pose when you're ready. You might want to shake out your legs. As you come into your table, you might want to take a little stretch back of each leg, so maybe press back with one foot, pushing down and forward into the hands, so just stretch the calf muscle, back of the leg. We were sitting for a while, so you might have a little bit of pins and needles. So do what you need to do to stretch out those legs one at a time. And then coming into your cat-cow. Syncing up breath and movement and attention. And you may want to refine this a little bit by letting the movement start at the tailbone and undulate up the spine. So first just lifting tail on the inhale, dropping belly, spreading heart, shoulders come back, head lifts last. Now keep everything the same except tuck the tail on the exhale, then draw the navel in, then round the upper back, then chin to chest. So begin the undulating movement always in the tail. This is just a way to bring a little bit more body awareness and refine it a little so it's not just a kind of pumping up and down. And of course we leave the arms straight as we do this. And it just cultivates a graceful flow. And then bringing the spine to neutral. Hands come forward a few inches, begin to circle those hips. Nice and wide circles, inviting lubrication to flow in the hip joint. Send your breath there to warm it up, and then circle the other way. Let each breath and each movement be an invitation to enjoy being in your body this morning, however it is, whatever is showing up. Let's take it into your seal pose, coming center with the heart. Little bend in the elbows, roll onto the thighs, big toes touch, heels come close to the buttocks, and arch the back, look up, expand to the front of the torso, big breath in. Exhale, round into a cat stretch, sink it back to your child. Take a couple of breaths to melt into your child and find some micro movements. Be a curious child, exploring the territory a little bit here, maybe with hips side to side or hands walking forward. Maybe even coming up onto fingertips, spider fingers to lift the arms, get a little release between the shoulder blades. Lots of breath, belly expanding fully, contracting fully. And then rising up back into your table pose, keeping the hips over the knees. We're going to slide the hands forward, melting the heart in the heart melting pose, either chin down or forehead down. Navel draws in and up to support your lengthening spine. Hips draw back, hands draw forward, also known as the puppy stretch. Lengthening, expanding through the whole torso here. Lower the elbows and the forearms down to bring the body forward into Sphinx. Plant the pelvis down and elbows line up underneath the shoulders. So take a moment to check that so you have that 90-degree angle of your arms. And you're going to root down through the pubic bone, point the toes back and energize the legs so your toes reach back a little further. And then plant all 10 toes down. You should feel the legs active enough so that kneecaps are lifting, quads are engaged. Press into the elbows and give a little isometric tug toward the rib cage. Lift up through the crown, heads of the shoulders back. Take a long, slow, deep breath here in your Sphinx pose. Notice what's alive in the front of the torso and in the low back. And then as the toes, you can curl the toes under. And as the toes curl under and you press back through the heels, you should feel the knees lift. Maybe your thighs can lift all the way off here to prepare for everybody's favorite practice, the forearm plank. Let the back body be flat. Really get those toes curled under. Yeah. Back of the neck is long, so look straight down between your forearms. Activate your core muscles in toward the center. Ujjayi breath. 3 to 5 breaths here. And of course, anytime you need to come out, you can float the hips down slowly and return to Sphinx. Keep the legs active and powered up. Back of the knee crease lifts. Keep the tailbone reaching toward your feet. So you don't want to have your butt sticking up in the air. You want to have that flat low back. I don't know how many breaths I've done or how many you've done, but when you feel complete, float the pelvis down, return to a nice elegant Sphinx pose. Give that little tug of the elbows toward the ribs just to expand, get a little bit more space between the lower ribs and the hips. And then roll the torso down, slide the hands under the shoulders in placement for Cobra. Let the forehead come down. Again, all 10 toes are rooting. Take it into your Cobra. Start with a baby Cobra, just chest lifts. Here you don't want to press into the hands. You just want the hands lightly supporting you. Elbows snuggle in, and then you can take it into your snake pose, clasping hands, perhaps visualizing here the lotus of the heart, those 12 petals with all those beautiful qualities that are part of you, blossoming open. See that jewel radiating open, and if you want to take it from here into locust, you can peel the legs off. It's an optional exploration here. Try to get the legs lifted all the way up through the thighs. So no part of your legs is actually touching. If you can, reach back through the toes, reach forward with the heart, lift the edges of the mouth, just because we're focusing on lift, 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 lift here. Big breath in and exhale. Release, hands come under the shoulders, forehead comes down. Just wiggle the hips side to side a little bit. And then take it into another Cobra of your choice, either baby Cobra or full Cobra if it feels available. You know already about keeping those elbows bent and the shoulders back and down. Big breath in, all 10 toes connecting. Exhale, release. And here, press up through table, maybe get that nice cat stretch, and find your way into downward facing dog. And take a little time to open up any way that you enjoy with your down dog. Taking your dog for a slow walk, a sauntering walk where the hips can sway side to side with each opposite knee bending, or you can take it into a plank here. Since you enjoyed that other plank so much, you can take it into high plank on the inhale and exhaling into down dog. So take it at the level of vigorousness that you enjoy. Yeah. Always syncing up the movement with breath. Letting your breath and your mind and your body be a celebration of being alive today. And then bringing it forward into plank pose, shoulders over wrist, arm bones stacked, firm core, firm legs, and then lower down, knees, chest, chin, butt up in the air. The shoulders land to hover over the hands. Inhale into the Cobra of your choice. If you prefer to take Sphinx instead, that's fine. So find the back bend that feels nice for you, and meet back in down dog. Press the low belly toward the thighs and lift the sacrum. Sink the heart down low, press down and forward into the hands. We're going to step forward with the right foot. And so if you'd like to take it into a three-legged dog flare, you can do that first, however you want to get that right foot forward between the hands. Unshrug the shoulders and lengthen through the spine. All right, anybody need a knee pad here? You good? Okay, root the hips down. And then the inner thighs toward the center, sweep up into your warrior, kneeling warrior pose. Today we're going to practice being the lotus warrior. So bring your hands into that lotus bud. And we'll take it, you can repeat the mantra silently to yourself, or just do the mudras which makes that same suggestion, opening to possibility here. And then letting the petals open, seeing that jewel, letting it rise up out of the muck of our illusion and our ignorance, connecting with God consciousness, and opening your 1,000 petals to the universe. This time, clasp the hands back behind you. Get all those 12 petals with those 12 qualities, radiating outward, big breath, and then release and draw the hips back into a runner stretch. You can point and flex your foot to activate your calf muscle, maybe sliding that heel forward a little bit more. Square your hips, lengthen out, and then bow down. And just take a couple of breaths here to invite a juicy stretch in the back of that right leg, hamstring, calf, lengthening through the whole spine as well, folding from the hip crease. So notice if you've got any rounding in the shoulders. I invite you to try to use blocks underneath. And that way you can try to draw your shoulder blades toward one another. Yes, that's it. That's a flat back. Yeah. You too, Pat. I think you might benefit from having just a little something, a little height underneath there so that you can relax that place that gets rounded in the upper back. Really feel their spine like an arrow lengthening out. Then we're going to come back into the low lunge, knee over ankle. We'll take it into a press twist. Press right palm into thigh, left palm under the shoulder, and just take a press twist a few times. So releasing on the inhale, exhale into the twist. That's warming up the spine a little more into your twist, and then you can take it into the expression of a spinal rotation here that you like, lifting one hand up or curling back toes under, lift up into high lunge twist, revolve side angle. Grow long and wide with a big breath. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back, and flow it through your vinyasa as you choose. If you enjoy chaturanga up dog, you can take that, or knees, chest, chin, or a moment in child. We'll meet in down dog. Sink the heart down low, lift the tail. A little refinement here in your downward facing dog. Just a slight turning of the armpits toward one another. Gives a little expansion through the upper back. We're going to step the left foot through, so if you did a three-legged dog on the other side, you can do it here. Float that foot through. Gently land the right knee down, unshrug the shoulders, and lengthen through your spine. As the inner thighs activate toward the midline, sweep the hands up. Just find your steadiness and your power in your kneeling warrior. And then bring the hands to the lotus bud. Faith, potentiality, trusting in possibility for yourself. And then opening the petals, seeing that radiant jewel that is who you are. Elbows come together, making that stem, letting it rise up into a higher consciousness, crown of the head, full transcendence, opening those 1,000 petals to the universe, interlacing your fingers, opening those 12 petals, big breath in, staying strong and steady using your core and your legs to support yourself here. Big breath in, exhale, release, and fold back into runner stretch. Point and flex. Maybe slide that heel forward a little bit. Keep your hips squared, keep your spine long, and breathe and explore here. Meet the place where it feels juicy and you want to go, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Each in-breath is an opportunity to lengthen a little more from root to crown. And we're going to back off a little on the inhale, roll that foot down so that you're back into your lunge, and take that press twist on this side. Rolling the left shoulder open, looking up at the sky if you can. Take a few pulses there into your press twist. Maybe you'll get a little snap, crackle, pop. That's often very enjoyable to feel as the spine realigns. And take it into your expression of this twist. Knee down or knee up. Big inhale as you expand in all directions, and then release. Step it back into plank one more time. Flow it through as you enjoy to meet in downward facing dog. Once you land in your downward facing dog, walk, step, or hop the feet between the hands to come into your forward bend. And stay nice and close between belly and thighs. Let the head be loose. Let the arms be loose. Any movement here that helps letting go and releasing. Whatever needs to pour out of the top of the head, let it go. Make any noises here that you'd like. And then we'll take a half lift, slide the hands up the shins, the fingers up the shins to grow long, flat back, parallel spine to the floor. Unshrug the shoulders, spread the heart, lift the navel. Big inhale, exhale, fold. Soften the knees and rising sun. Lifting up, reach through right, reach through left, palms come together, bring that lotus bud back to the heart. Just to take a moment to pause here in your mountain pose and feel the aliveness that you've generated. And we'll take it into a warrior flow. I'm going to face forward this time. So I'll mirror you here. Hands at the heart. Inhale, let the arms rise and arch back. You can either raise them like this, like a rising sun, or just let it rise up like that lotus. Arch back, exhale, take a dive into forward bend. Inhale, take a half lift one more time, and exhale, fold. Step your right foot back, a whole leg length into a lunge. We're going to rise up into warrior one, so spin the back heel, the right heel in 45 degrees, plant that foot down and rise up. Warrior one, square your hips, root your tail down. Once again, we're going to be the lotus warrior, so bring your hands into that lotus bud. So perhaps the most important thing that we do showing up as warrior is to make first and foremost the uncovering of that jewel, the discovering of our true nature, the unleashing of those qualities within ourselves. Really, being a warrior is not about brute force or manipulation or control of others. It's about that inner battle of discovering who we are. And let the petals open. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let it rise up. Om Mani Padme Hum. 1,000 petals at the crown chakra, opening in all directions. Om Mani Padme Hum. Clasp behind you. Open the heart nice and wide, and we'll take it into humble warrior. You can either do that just at a diagonal line from heel to crown, or shoulder on top of knee, or shoulder inside knee. Take your own expression of this posture of humility, and then release the hands, brush the earth, and rise back up into your warrior one. Palms come together and bring the lotus back to the heart. Hands frame the feet as you release and let go, or frame that front foot. Step back and flow it through as you enjoy, meeting in downward facing dog, or child, or table. Going to step through with the right foot. If you'd like to take another three-legged dog or kick your own asana, you can do that. To bring that right foot through and rise up into your warrior one. Take your time getting there. All right, so your back foot is flat and you're rooting down through the outer edge of your left foot this time. Your front knee is over ankle. Your stance is long enough. I'll just go sideways here for a moment. Your stance is long enough that you can get those hips low and the front thigh as close to parallel as possible. All right, so that back knee is not bent. You're powering up that back leg and draw that left hip forward. Bring the hands to the lotus bud at the heart. This is the gesture of faith. You don't know, you can't see the jewel, but you trust that it's there. with our yoga practice, we cultivate that opening of the flowering of the lotus. We see the jewel, let it rise up to the crown of the head, out of the muck, and expand in our words, thoughts, and actions, opening. And all that we do, interlace fingers, open the heart, take your humble warrior, your expression. Remember, it can just be a halfway. Draw the shoulder blades toward one another. If you're taking the full expression, crown of the head reaches toward the earth and hovers over, and then release the hands, brush the fingers to the earth, and use your active, strong leg muscles to balance you as you rise up. Palms come together, and take it back to the heart. Beautiful. And from here, hands come down, step up, half lift, inhale, exhale, fold. Soften the knees and rise up. Rising sun, palms come together, and bring the hands back to lotus bud at the heart. We'll take it into some balance poses now. So other side we'll begin with inhale, reach and rise, arch back, heart, hands, gaze to the sky. Exhale, deep dive to the earth. Inhale, half lift, flat back, long spine. Try to fan your sitting bones apart like you're spreading peacock feathers. Exhale, fold. Step back with the left foot this time. On the ball of your foot, we're going to rise up this time in a balancing warrior one. So steady yourself with strong core and inner thighs toward one another. You're on the ball of the back foot, so take a moment to feel your steadiness. So we're in our balance practice already. All right, square your hips, root the tail down. Then you can open your wings, and in either one step or two, spring off into flight as crane. Your crane pose is going to be a transition to come right into the tree. So let me get this, I don't think you could see my face on the other. So come into your tree, expression of tree pose. If anyone needs to go off of your mat and use a fingertip against the wall, feel free to do that. Now you can take your tree. Usually we do it with sole of the foot inside calf or thigh. But another way to do tree is to actually take the half lotus leg. Now this is not comfortable for everybody's knees, so don't do it if your knee says no. But the heel is going to be in line with the groin area, and you can actually use the other hand to hold on, maybe just make the sound of one hand clapping. You really want to draw that knee back behind you to try to keep that foot in place if you can. And let those, in your tree pose, take those lotus mudras. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Transitioning, taking that leap of faith back into your balancing warrior one. Bring the lotus bud mudra overhead, hands overhead. And now I'm going to invite you to come into the twist of your choice. If you can take it into prayer twist, opening the lotus mudra as you're in the prayer. Try to line up your thumbs with your heart. If you need something a little more supportive, you can take this same twist we did before, or you can lower your knee if you need to. So the prayer twist with the opening lotus mudra. Yeah, got it. Beautiful. You want to twist in the other direction, Susan? Yeah. Yeah. So you get the leverage with elbow outside knee. Release the hands, step back and flow it through your own way, your own time, to meet in down dog or table or child. Try to land in your downward facing dog as a resting pose. All right. We're going to sweep the left leg up behind you. And if you took a little butt kick on the other side, you can do it here. However you made that transition to step through into balancing warrior and rising up. All right. You can have your hands any way that you want in this transitional moment, because I like to open my wings and then spring into flight. You can either do it with one spring off or step up into mountain first and then lift. And then from here, you'll take it into your expression of tree. Maybe the way you're used to doing it is the right way for you today. Maybe you want to play with half lotus pose. You might need to keep your hand on your toe that way and make the sound of one hand clapping. Or just do tree any way you're comfortable and take it into that sequence of the lotus mudras. Remember to open your hips, to press firmly. If you have your foot pressing into your tree trunk, do it so that you're really pressing in, so you get that nice hip opener. Fixing your gaze into a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you. And then taking that leap of faith back, spread your wings and land powerfully in your balancing warrior one, lotus mudra overhead, lotus bud mudra. And then draw that lotus down to the heart as you take your prayer twist or any variation you did on the other side. Open your petals of your lotus, see the jewel. Yeah. You want to be long enough in your stance that your butt is not up in the air. Yeah. And when you're ready to release, frame that front foot, step up, half forward bend, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. And sweep up. Palms come together and return to the heart. Bring that lotus bud back to the heart. Just pause and notice how you feel. Yeah. Beautiful. We're going to do some side postures now. So turn to face the long end of your mat, where you can still see the screen. Maybe you'll need to change the direction of your mat. So we're going to do from heel to heel, a length of one of your legs, opening out into the 5-pointed star. So this is a practice of expansion. Can you see me okay, Susan? Okay. Yeah, whichever way, or you can tilt your mat if you need to. So in this posture, the toes are turned out 45 degrees. You expand. Think about that, the 12 petals of the heart lotus, expanding, opening and expanding, lighting up, and inside is that radiant jewel. And see that radiance expanding out from the heart center, out through your arms, out through your fingertips, down through the tail, up through the crown, out through the third eye, right between the eyebrows. Just practice in this pose of 5-pointed star, really touching into that sense of radiance. Take a deep breath in, and just bending the knees to bring the thighs parallel to the earth. Come into your goddess, and arms bend 90 degrees, goddess pose. Really open those legs so you get that stretch in the inner thighs. Outside edge of the thighs draws back behind you. Keep your back as flat as possible. So you want to bring the pubic bone forward a little so low back is long. And with Ujjayi breath, we're going to hang out here in goddess pose for a few breaths. And you can take the hands, you can practice being the lotus goddess. So bring the hands into lotus bud. Om Mani Padme Hum, opening. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Bring the hands back to the heart. 2 more deep breaths here in goddess. And then opening back up into your 5-pointed star, just straightening the legs, expanding the arms, touching into your radiance. Pivoting on the heels, toes turned straight ahead, your outer edges of your feet parallel to the short ends of your mat. Take a half forward bend, airplane arms. Ardha Prasarita Padottanasana. Spread the sit bones like those peacock feathers, fanning wide. Reach forward through the crown, back of the neck is long. If you need to, you can press, or just to help find length in the spine, you can press into your thighs if you need to invite that lengthening out, flat back. And when you're ready, come into a full forward fold here, either bringing the hands to a block or just to the mat. Lengthen out here through the spine and take your wide leg forward bend, maybe playing with a wide leg down dog. Let the heart melt to the place right between the feet in the center point. The mat underneath you, walk the hands forward, maybe coming up on fingertips, maybe lifting your hands off of the mat just to play with your center of gravity here. To make sure you're not bringing the hips forward. Hips draw back, hands draw forward. Then the hands come back under the shoulders. Lift up halfway. We're going to walk it around to your right and take it into lizard lunge. Just bring the hands under your shoulders to the inside excuse me, of your right foot. So I'm mirroring you here again. So you can be in a high lunge lizard or lower that knee down if you need to. And just play and pulse here with this deep stretch, this deep lunge stretch. If you want to come down onto your forearms, you can do that. That makes it a little bit more challenging. And we're going to take some hip opening stretches to open the hips a little, and so your opportunity here is to roll onto the outer edge of your right foot and let that right knee turn out to the side. And control how deeply you lower the pelvis with your hands or forearms. And just breathe into that. Oh yeah, go for the juice. And if your left leg is lifted, you want to just keep that knee lifted off of the mat unless you decide to lower it. Just don't let it sink down mindlessly. Breathe and enjoy and explore. And then as you're ready, roll that foot flat, lift the hips, and walk your hands around through the center to the other side. Take your lizard lunge on the other side. So you're on the ball of your back foot, which is your right foot now. Your left foot starts flat. And just bring your hands under the shoulders. You are not straddling the foot. You have your foot your hands on the inside of that foot and the same side as the inner edge. And just explore the territory. Slither around a little bit as your lizard. If it's available, you can come down onto your forearms. Ujjayi breath. Yeah, and then you can roll onto the outer edge of that left foot and explore that hip opener. Breathe into that. It should feel strong here, but not painful, especially anything that you do with knees. You want to really listen to what your knees are telling you. It's one thing to feel a stretch and to feel that ooh yeah feeling, but if your knee is making you grimace and go, then that's telling you something you need to listen to. And then we're going to roll that left foot back down, plant the knee over the ankle, lift the hips, straighten both legs, walk around to the center. Take another bowing down here. And then a half lift up, pivot on the heels, toes turn out, bend the knees, and roll up one vertebra at a time. Arms reach and rise. Lotus butt overhead, draw it back to your heart. Then you can heel toe the feet back together. Just give a little shake out. We're going to actually come down to some seated postures. How you all doing? Are you feeling warm? Should we crack a window? Yeah, it's warm today. It's like going to be in the 40s, I think, again. And the sun is shining. The sun is shining right on that little lotus jewel that I showed you in the beginning. It's so beautiful. All right. So a little bit more hip opening, working on opening the hips here. So you can either sit with a little folded blanket underneath your sitting bones or sit right on the mat. Just invite a long spine, and you can start with your right leg coming into cradle the baby. Now what happens when we come into cradle the baby, you've all done this one with me before, so you know how to do this. Sometimes you If you can't hook your fingers together, you can do it like this with hand on knee and ankle. But what we want to make sure we don't do is go into Shlumpasana. So you need to try to stay centered on your sit bones and shoulders stack over hips, and think about that line of energy going right up through the top of the head. And then go for the juice here, drawing the lower leg in toward the heart, foot as close to your shoulder, opposite shoulder as you can. And once you breathe into that a few times, you can play with elbow underneath, pressing knee away. Get a nice hip rotation and glute stretch here, or both elbows underneath, drawing that lower leg in. Breathe and enjoy. This is also a nice practice or entry into the compass pose, where you would hook that inside of the knee behind your shoulder and then stretch up like that. So if anybody feels loosey-goosey enough to do that today, you can take that compass pose. I'm not going to teach it today, though. Give your baby a little hug. You can rock the baby side to side without turning the whole torso. You just want to have the movement be from the hip. This is all about opening the hip here. Yeah. And when you're ready to release this side, maybe shake it out a little bit, and then take it on the other side. Now, when you take your cradle the baby, your opposite leg can either be straight or it can be slightly bent. So find whatever position supports you in staying upright, avoiding that Shlumpasana. Shoulders beautifully stacked over the hips, spine elegantly long. Lower leg drawing in toward the heart to snuggle that baby close to you. And go for that oh yeah place. Maybe coming into the press the inside of the knee away. Oh yeah. You should not feel this in your knee when you do this. You should feel it in your glutes, really. So it's fine if you are having some knee discomfort, knee pain, to back off and do a gentler version of this. Maybe just this is fine. That's nice to feel that fresh air in here. Yeah. Let me know if it gets too cold. Breathe and enjoy. And again, every asana is an opportunity to celebrate being alive. Ujjayi breath. Send your breath to where it's tight. That's where the prana will flow. And then taking the soles of the feet, well, first you can just shake out the legs for a moment. And then we're going to take the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Once again, here, people often find it easier to maintain a long spine rather than going into a rounded low back by just having one fold of a blanket. Sit bones at the very edge, hip pointers forward. Lengthen like an arrow through your spine. Open your feet like a book. So we want to be sitting with the soles of the feet together here. Yeah, so you can butterfly your legs. This is also called the butterfly pose. So you can take a little butterflying here if you like. Lengthen up through your spine. Roll a little forward on your sit bones to get that accessibility to fold forward. So now we're going to play with lengthening on the inhale, with a flat back, deepening on the exhale. So you're going to stretch through the low back here, and stretch through the inner thighs, open the hips, lead with the heart, back of the neck long. Find that pulse with breath. Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Baddha means bound, or to bind. Kona means angle. And asana, pose. Baddha Konasana. So every inhale is an opportunity to lengthen, so you back off a little bit and lift up. Find that arrow-like quality, root to crown. Exhale, lead with the heart. Yeah, beautiful. Doesn't matter how low you go. Just maintain that long spine, keep leading with the heart. Notice if your edge is changing. Because if you hang out and just do a very subtle, gentle pulse here, every exhale just surrendering a little more, do you notice that that edge is not a solid thing? It's malleable. It's continually shifting and changing from day to day and from breath to breath and moment to moment. So when we say I, everything that we think we are physically, mentally, emotionally is continually in flux, continually changing. Lift up slowly. Stretch out the legs, bounce them out. And we're going to take it into a twist and fold. So slide your right heel in close to your pelvis. And either the foot can either stay where it is inside the thigh or cross over to the outside of the thigh, heel toward opposite hip. Wrap your left arm around your folded leg. Lengthen up through the crown. Reach back, so sweep that. You're going to fix your gaze. Traditionally, we fix the gaze over the middle finger and reach back behind. So follow that gaze to reach back behind with the right hand and then place the heel of the hand down behind your sacrum. Inhale, lift. Exhale into your twist. And once you're comfortable here with this twist, if you want to take it deeper, you can bring upper arm outside thigh. Those of you who are really flexible and open to taking a bind can reach your left hand through the space between that's in that folded leg, reach through that space, reach around back behind, hook your fingers, yeah. Now you want to try to do that without rounding. You want to keep that lift and length. That's the challenge here. Look over your right shoulder. It's absolutely fine just to do the simplest, most basic expression of this twist. You get a lot of benefit out of that. Yeah. See if you can soften your shoulders a little bit. Yeah. And then release when you're ready. Take the sole of that foot inside the thigh of the extended leg, so you're coming into like a seated tree pose. Lift, take a little twist, navel toward knee, arms rise, take it into your Janu Shasana forward fold. Long spine, forehead reaching toward the shin, but don't go into around it. Just find that length first. Lead with the heart, and then if it feels satisfying to touch your forehead to your knee, it's okay to do that because it feels good. People seem to have a sense of accomplishment when they can do that. And then sliding the hands back. We'll take that twist on the other side, so lengthening out those legs. Slide the left heel in. Either keep it here or cross it over. Elegant lift in the spine, wrap right hand around the left folded leg. Follow that gaze, middle finger right around straight back behind you. So you have your shoulders now level with the side of your mat. And then place your hand down behind you, not too far back, because that's going to encourage you to lean back. So lift and deepen into the twist. And explore here in the same way that you did on the other side. See what's available to you on this side. Every inhale is an opportunity to back off a little and lengthen. And every exhale, the opportunity to focus on deepening. So you actually want to get the... this arm just goes like that, and you have to have connection right here. Not you have to get down low enough to get your arm in there, and then lengthen up. Yeah, and that's so true that we're not symmetrical. Yeah. Shoulder blades toward one another. Yeah. Beautiful. Nice, elegant twist. All right, one more breath here in this twist. Breathe and enjoy. Unwind. Bring the sole of the foot inside the thigh. Seated tree. That's just what I'm calling it. This is just a prep for Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Take that little twist, navel toward knee, lift up and fold. Once again, the same idea applies here, that you want to back off and lift and recommit to the length on the inhale, and then lead with the heart deepening on the exhale. And after you've done that for a couple of breaths, if you want to touch your forehead to your leg, you can do that. It's okay to either grab your foot or grab your ankle. So Susan, if you want to take a little bit of leverage here to pull a little, you can do that. Yeah. And then as you're ready, releasing this Janu Shirshasana, rising back up, and lengthen out both legs, shake them out. We're going to come onto the back. So bend your knees, and plant your feet down. We're going to take a little core strengthening here. Turn your palms up, and keeping your feet planted, see if you can roll down one vertebra at a time. The trick is, so you're going to really activate here, navel draws in to control one vertebra at a time, rolling down without lifting your feet off. And just rolling down so you can come into feet planted, knees bent, and bring your hands underneath your buttocks, palms down. Lengthen out your legs. So you've got your butt on top of the backs of the hands, palms down. And you don't have to have your elbows underneath. Your elbows would be sticking out to the side. So it's just the hands that are underneath the body. I'm going to invite you to do a few leg lifts here, just for a little core strengthening. You can start one leg at a time. Inhale, straight leg, lift the sole of the right foot to the sky. Exhale, lower it down. Ujjayi breath. Left leg, lift up. Exhale, float it down. And alternating side to side to start. Lifting up with the breath, taking the whole exhale to float that leg down. Softly lowering the back of the heel down. Side to side, lifting and lowering with breath. So you're just lifting each leg one at a time, perpendicular to the body. Keep pressing the low back into the mat here to stabilize and protect your low back. Now you can stay lifting one leg at a time. If you want to take it deeper, a little more challenging, you can float after you complete on both sides. Float both feet up. Exhale, Ujjayi breath, float down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, floating down. Now, if you want to take this into a little deeper level of challenge, when you lower the legs, see if you can keep the backs of the legs just hovering about an inch over the mat, so you don't actually let them release. That keeps the lower abdominal muscles engaged. You want to keep that low back drawing down toward the mat. Notice if your face is scrunching up and you're getting tight in the brow or in the jaw. See if you can relax where you don't need tension. We'll do this for about 10 minutes. Okay, next time you lower down, bend the knees and plant the feet. In preparation for bridge pose, remove your hands from underneath you, just place them by your side. And inhale, roll right up into your bridge. Either hands can stay at your side, or you can clasp your fingers, lifting the hips, pressing the top of the chest toward the chin, spreading the heart, shoulder blades tucked toward one another. You all know how to do bridge, so take your expression of bridge pose here, hip pointers to the sky, trying to get your hips higher than your heart. Inner thighs active so the knees stay planted over the ankles. Lift, 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 breathe and enjoy. Hold for as many breaths as you're comfortable. 3 breaths, 5 breaths, 7 breaths. And when you feel ready to release, you can slowly roll down 1 vertebra at a time. If you're still enjoying and into it, you can hold on to it. And when you feel complete, hug your thighs in. Give yourself an embrace, Apanasana. Enjoy that. Maybe rock side to side. Take it into happy baby. Soles of the feet face the sky. Your knees are going to be nice and wide on either side of your rib cage. Holding onto your feet or your ankles. Draw your legs, your thighs down toward the earth, so you can get them to come parallel to the floor. At the same time, press the sacrum down, so you're going to lengthen through the low back. You can get playful as your happy baby. Releasing your happy baby. Just take a moment to circle your hips. We've done a lot of strong stuff for the hips, so circle those knees, give your hips a little massage one way and then the other way. Let your breath slow down and deepen in and out through the nose. I'm going to invite you now to melt into your Shavasana for a couple of minutes of stillness as we move into the stillness portion of our practice. If anyone needs a blanket, do you want a blanket, Andy?
I'm okay.
Okay, you sure? All right, because we do cool down. I just closed the windows. Would you like a real bolster, or are you okay with that? You good, Susan? All right. Letting go of any control of the breath. Just allow the prana to flow wherever it needs to flow. I'm going to share with you some words from the ancient Vedic scripture, the Chandogya Upanishad. In the center of the castle of Brahman, which is our own body, there is a small shrine in the form of a lotus flower. And within it can be found a small space. We should find who dwells there. And we should want to know that which dwells there. And if anyone asks, who is it that dwells in a small shrine in the form of a lotus flower in the center of the castle of Brahman? We can answer, the little space within the heart is as great as this universe. The heavens and the earth are there. The sun and the moon and the stars. Fire and lightning and winds. For the whole universe is in that divinity that dwells within our heart. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Begin to bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Find any movements that bring you into your body, into the present time. And roll over onto your side into fetal position. And in your own way, in your own time, I invite you to bring yourself up to a seated position for meditation. Any comfortable meditation position that works for you, that supports a long spine. Let's revisit those mudras that we did at the beginning of our practice, that we wove throughout our practice, bringing the hands into the lotus bud, touching in with that quality of faith and possibility. And then letting the three middle fingers open and visualizing that jewel that dwells inside, that is your true nature. In the lotus of the heart, where Brahman dwells. And then letting it rise up, make that stem, bringing the elbows together, let that lotus rise up out of the muck of our forgetting, of our illusion and our ignorance, to the crown of the head, the 1,000-petaled lotus. Let it open in all directions as wide as the universe, in that spirit of merging, opening wide. Bring the hands back together in front of the heart, in the lotus bud. And those of you who wish to can join with me in the chant, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Use the mudras. Om Mani Padme Hum. Rise up. Om Mani Padme Hum. Open. Om Mani Padme hum. Bow to your lotus bud. Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. Just let the lotus bud settle at the heart center. I would like to do a little alternate nostril breathing before we take a few moments of just quiet meditation. So if you need to clear your nostrils, does anyone here need a tissue? Okay. Lengthen up through your spine. Remember, I won't be mirroring you here. Take your right hand and make that Vishnu Mudra, first and second finger, down toward the base of the thumb. Close off the right nostril with your thumb. Inhale through the left. Remember, we always switch at the top of the inhale, so open the right, exhale through the right, keeping the left closed. And same side inhale, inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch. Exhale right. And keep this basic flow side to side as we invite a balancing of the right and left hemispheres of the brain and the right and left nadi channels, the subtle channels that run alongside the spine, which are the main channels through which your prana flows. The first stage of alternate nostril breathing is simply switching side to side, inhaling, switching at the top of the inhale and exhaling other side, and then inhaling same side. We just let the breaths be long and slow. Remember, if one of your nostrils is clogged, you can always press into the cheek to flare it, or even stick your fingernail inside the nostril to give yourself a little wider passageway. This practice invites balance and calm for the nervous system. And to take this practice to the next level, if you'd like, we can add some timing. So next time you exhale through the right, let the exhale be twice as long as the inhale. So we begin to count 4 counts inhale, and then when you switch, 8 counts exhale. Same thing on the other side. Each inhale is 4 counts, each exhale is 8 counts. So you might need to take a little more forceful inhale and time your exhale so that the end of your 8 counts is when you are complete with your exhale. And then if you're comfortable with that pattern, you can add a hold in the center. So after your 4 counts inhale, hold for 8 counts. And then exhale for 8 counts. If that 8 counts feels too long, you can make it 4. Just taking a pause in between the inhale and the exhale. So begin to work with breath retention. So inhaling 4, holding 8, exhaling 8. There's a formula that the ancient yogis figured out that's actually inhale 4, hold 16, exhale 8. Inhale 4, hold 16, exhale 8 on the other side, and that would be 1 round. But today, I want to invite you to just practice by working your way up to that long hold. So just holding for either 4 or 8 counts in between your inhale and exhale is a good start to practice working with the internal breath retention. All of the breathing is through the nostrils here. And the next time you exhale through your left nostril, let the hands come down to your lap. Turn the palms up and let the thumb and first finger, tips of the thumb and first finger touch. The other fingers are just gently open, palm open. Backs of the hands rest comfortably on your thighs. Refresh your posture. I offer you these words from the poet Kabir. Do not go into the garden of flowers, O friend. Go not there. In your body is the garden of flowers. Take your seat on the 1,000 petals of the lotus, and there gaze upon the infinite beauty. I invite you to visualize with your mind's eye the lotus flower, the 12-petal lotus in the center of the chest, in the heart, the Anahata chakra. And inside that radiant jewel, shining in all directions. Each of those petals containing a quality that is an aspect of your awakened heart. And just allow the mind to rest in the visualization without controlling the breath. Just let the breath be natural. Visualizing that radiant jewel in the center of the lotus of the heart. Letting your eyes open with a soft gaze. Just bring your hands once more to that lotus bud. And we'll join together, those of you who wish to, with the sound of Om, opening those petals to reveal that jewel. Deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. This has been such a joy for me to practice with you these 6 weeks. Here's my